Hey everybody, Shawn Tubbs here. Thanks for stopping by my studio. I wanted to do a video of this really great LSL Saticoy Stratocaster guitar that is now in my personal collection. And it's just an absolutely beautiful Strat. Lance did a really nice job on this thing. They do their own nitrocellulose finish. Generally, you know, pretty darn thin, which I love. And they also do a light amount of cracking to the finish. So I think it really lets the guitar shake the way it should, more like an old guitar would shake. It's got the Saticoy pickups. I mean, actually everything on this thing, aside from the bridge, is pretty much, in tuners, is built by LSL. It's super light alder body, really nice weight, but not too light. Maple rosewood neck, 6105 frets. The neck profile is really comfortable. I wouldn't say it's quite like a Fender, like a vintage 60s like C shape. It's maybe a little bigger than that. But it's not like it's not something I would classify as a boat shape either. It's just very comfortable, and what I really dig about this guitar in general, but especially the neck, is it just seems very personalized for a guitar that you know is basically a custom instrument, it feels very personal. It feels like one guy really did kind of have their hands on this thing from the start to the end. The pick guard is actually hand cut and hand aged. All the hardware is hand aged. Just really, really nice. The pickup covers are hand aged. The LSL pickups are basically like a single coil. They offer 50s or 60s output. So of course the 50s is going to be a little more chimey and a little more quacky in the caught positions, or the second and fourth position. And the 60s are going to be hotter and maybe a little less quacky in the what I call the caught position. Back when I was a kid, I had a real 63 Stratocaster and only had a 3-way switch. So I would kind of maneuver it until it got between the two pickups, and I always called it the caught position or the stuck position. But anyways, really, really great guitar. I'm so impressed with the work. The frets are done really, really well. I did very little tweaking to it when I got it. Everybody personalizes their guitars, so I raised the action a little bit, and then of course kind of adjusted the tremolo to my specs. But other than that, it was like you just get it out of the case and play it. So it's a really impressive instrument, and I'm really, really proud to own it. So the song I did, was something it's not really even a song, it's just a jam in 6/8. And I just wanted to do it with just simple bass guitar drums so you guys could really kind of hear how this thing sings. Now, in full disclosure, I used my touring board with Carrie Underwood. I ended up using the Klon for the drive sound, and I just kept it on the whole time. So for the sake of this video, what I'm going to do is pretty much leave everything off and just let you hear the guitar. I'll just play it real quick. And I might turn on the Archer pedal, which I have in front of me now, which to me it sounds just like my Klon. That's why I dig those pedals so much. So I'll turn that on so you can hear how the pickups sound with a little bit of dirt. But anyways, let's get into it. Here's just kind of the neck position tone. So really sweet, pretty chimey, definitely a lower output single coil tone. These are staggered pull pickups, so they've got that really vintage kind of tone and attack and feel across the board. Now this guitar isn't super vintage radius, it's a 9.5 radius, which I think is just a really great radius. I think you can get 7 1/4 from Lance as well. But the staggered pickups really are for guys that are playing radius necks, especially a vintage radius neck. So that's the bridge tone. Sorry, the neck tone. Now I'll do the caught tone, or sorry, the second position tone. It's a little bit quacky, but not super quacky. And once again, that's personal preference. Some guys are going to want kind of hotter single coil pickups that are maybe a little more modern because they don't want so much of that quack. But this is very much that kind of vintagey quack that I actually really, really dig. And these pickups are certainly singles, so they're going to be a little bit noisy when you turn on a box. You know, you're going to hear some hum, but shoot, you know, it didn't stop Jimmy, didn't stop Stevie, you know, didn't stop anybody, didn't stop Buddy. Okay, so let's move on to the middle position. Really cool sounding. And also it's wired the way I like it, and I think the way most guys are running them now. But I've got the tone, the back tone here is wired specifically to the bridge, so I can manipulate those sounds. And then of course the middle tone is wired to the neck and middle, and right now that's wide open. And now we'll go to the fourth position. And now I'll let you guys hear the bridge. And we can darken that up. And look at that, dead in tune. I thought for sure I'd yank that G string out doing the behind the headstock thing, but no sir. Yeah, the nuts cut really well on it, if I didn't mention that. I mean, everything on this guitar is done so right. Just really, really fabulous. And I'll go ahead and roll the tone all the way up. Now for me, I usually keep it backed off around 7. Okay, real quick, let's just turn on, I'll just turn it on real fast so you can kind of hear some, a little bit of dirt from the Archer pedal. So here's the neck position tone. Here's the Archer pedal doing just a little bit of crunch. So I just wanted a little bit of hair on it for that little jam I did. Here's the middle tone. And here's the back tone. Here's the cot tones. And you know, one last thing I forgot to mention is the tremolo feels really great. This is actually a Wilkinson vintage style trem, and I really dig the way the arm goes into it, because it's just a push-in kind of deal, but there's a little Allen bolt on the back side of that, so you can adjust how tight you want that arm. Like for me, I don't like to have, especially when I'm tracking, if I'm doing a trem sound on like a vintage trem and I'm shaking it, if that arm's a little bit loose, you get that little as you're doing it. So for me, I like to be able to adjust that to exactly what I need, and it just feels great. So man, I hope you enjoyed hearing this guitar. And oh, by the way, he names all the guitars, and it's so cool. This one, he actually, you can't see it, but you can see it in the beginning of the video. He actually ended up calling this one Tubby, which is really cool because we didn't even discuss that at all. And actually, no one's really calls me Tubby. My last name is Tubbs, but my grandpa, who I so miss, everybody called him Tubby. So I thought that was really cool that Lance did that, and we hadn't even discussed it. So anyways, he names all of his guitars, which once again is just really cool. It's really endearing because, you know, these are personalized instruments, and that's, you know, when you spend that kind of money on a guitar, that's what you want it to be. Oh, one last thing. Gosh, sorry to keep not stopping. The neck joint on this thing is insane tight, but in all the right ways. It's a really tight joint, and what I dig about this is whenever I get a guitar that actually has a finished neck and a finished body, even though it's a thin finish, if they're going to do really tight specs on a neck joint, they really have to keep in mind their finish specs as well. So once, it's just another thing that tells me these guys know what they're doing, and they're not screwing around really with any part of building these guitars. So man, if you have any questions about these guitars, I'll put up a link at the end of the video so you guys can look them up and ask away. But yeah, I'm really proud to own this really nice LSL Saticoy Stratocaster.